Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together this Gone Batty box, which is a free SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So this is the front, and so we're just going to go ahead and fold these, the tabs, and you'll notice that this piece has a straight edge. That'll be for this, to put on the front after we fold it and put it together, because it won't fold properly with it. And then those are two rounded. So this one is the front right here, and then these two. So we're just going to go ahead and add glue to the side tab. We're not going to put the bottom on yet because we want to put the panels on, except for the front. So all the ones. So we're just going to line this up, this edge up to that tab fold, and glue the tab inside. So this one there's a slight round on the top, so just make sure you have it the correct way. It's very slight. So I'm just going to line them all up, make sure I have them correctly. And then these three, they go right here. So we're going to put those on, and then we can go ahead and work on the front panel. So this is a free file again, and we have several on our website. Most of them have videos. The older ones just have written instructions in the PDF files. So if you want to be notified when we have freebies or new other projects, because we do sell SVG files as well, so you can take a look at those. But if you go ahead and if you like this project, if you give me a little like below, a little thumbs up, and or subscribe to our channel, and if you hit that little notification bell to the right, you'll be notified when we have new projects, including freebies. So I took a couple months off because I had to move, but I should be back on track with freebies and regular projects. It just depends on how many I'll get done. So those are the three. So remember, don't put it on the one that has a straight edge up here, just the rounded. So when we fold it over, we have the other tab. Just line that up. It should line up fairly close if you've got the first one in line, and if it's a little bit off, that's okay as well. So we could close up the box, or we could do it, it's going to be easier to close it up rather than do it with this little front part. So this is just meant to be, you could make this slightly smaller, by the way. This is 3 by 3, but you can make it slight if you want to resize it. We have a video on how to resize in Cricut and Silhouette, it's not much harder. And the other machine, other software, I can always help you if you needed that. So let's go ahead and get this prepped. So what I want to do first is to ink this just a little bit. So just to give it a little bit of interest. I typically use Distress Oxide these days, but you could really use a lot of different inks. It doesn't matter. This just blends well. So, and I also use these type of tools, the Distress tool and these little things. They call them makeup brushes or blending brushes, and you can get them, like a lot of crafting companies sell them, but I got mine at Amazon, so I got a whole set. So what's nice is it has a little holder and everything. It's an off-brand, but I have a different color for everything, so I don't have to like use different pads. So this, I change out the pads, so I have several pads. Make sure this is in good focus here. So for this one, I'm just going to add this pumice stone. So I could use this. If you want to know what it looks like, you can flip it over and do it on the other side. I'm going to do it towards the bottom, so you can. That's the place that'll be gluing to the actual front of the box. So it gives you an idea what it'll look like. So I just want to put like a little edge on it. And I'll show you how I use the other brush too. It's similar, but I am not the person I'm not the expert on blending. So there are some, if you want to watch, if you're interested in using Distress Oxide, Tim Holtz is the person that started these, and he's the one that is the #1. So, but I just want to get this a glow, like a nighttime glow, or I should say like a moon glow. So there's no perfection. It's just a matter of like what you like it to look like. Oh, another person that's good to watch is Jennifer McGuire. I like Jennifer McGuire's videos. And you see it's a little heavier on that side. So I can do similar. What's nice with this ink is that it blends really well. So let me get the blending brush. And I can continue to blend if I wanted to, just a little bit to blend it in. You can see I'm using my thumb. I actually prefer these now, but sometimes when I'm using smaller projects, I still use I have a ton of these little foam pads, and I have a couple of these. And I don't even think this is, I have a couple of these, so I keep them handy for like just plain colors normally, but do use them for smaller projects. So I want a little bit more on this side. So you can see I kind of dab off a little bit before I do it, just so I don't get too much ink. So that's that. And then so I'm just going to leave it like that, because what we're going to do is put this, I don't have any nails, so I left this. I was going to put the shape on here so you could shape it, put it where you want. But the reason I did not do that is so you could use it for anything. So you could use this box, actual box in the front, for anything. So you can put anything on it. It's like I said, it's 3 inches across here. So I wanted it to be a little bit more of a flexible file, which I normally like to do. So this layers like this. So I'm just going to show you how it layers. And we have a bat that layers, but I'll just do one piece so you can see how it sits on this. So I want it to be angled a little bit, so it'll be like this, like a flying bat. So I want to create a little bit of distinctness and give shading to the moon. So let's go ahead and start with this piece. Actually, before we do that, let's put a little white on this. Not white, pumice stone. So you can forward ahead if you don't want to go through all this inking process, but I've had quite a few questions in the past about inking, so I thought, well, this is a good freebie to try it on, or to do it on. So what I'm doing is just getting you could use white, but I think white's a little bit stark for many people. So I'm just kind of getting the edges with this pumice stone. I know you can't see it well, but it does give it a little accent. And I'll do that with the edge of the face as well, because that'll sit on top. So this is just all for, if you want to practice, I always say just get some pieces out and practice. But to me, inking's not, I mean, it is an art. But when I'm doing these kind of things, I just kind of do it to taste. It's not anything that I'm getting too obsessed about. I just think it gives it a little bit of pop. So if you can kind of tell, hopefully. So once we get everything layered, it'll look different. And since I'm using the same one for pumice stone, I did the light one first, and then I'll do the black soot. So I'm going to take these. These are pretty much what they're supposed to be, our clouds, almost like nighttime clouds, to make it spooky. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to make one a little bit darker. Instead of using 2 different colors papers, which you can for this little piece, you could just ink the edges. So I'm going to ink the edges as this too. So you can see if I hit it first, that's where this is going to go. But if it hit it too soon, this is why I get the excess ink on the paper and then go. And the reason I'm going to ink all the way around the edge is primarily because I don't want too much gray showing. We're going to line up the moon with that. So I'd rather just make it a little bit darker so it's not as noticeable the grays underneath there. So I know this is the place that's going to show. So if I go here, use that, this is going to show. This is going to go over it. Okay, so I'm going to just give a little bit more color to it, that area that'll show. Then here, I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to make the whole thing a little bit darker with ink. So it's up to you. I mean, you could just edge it. I'm going to just continue, and you can continue. And this is good blending. Like I said, this is good blending ink. So you can just play around with inks you have on hand. And you don't have to use this tool, but you can go to if you're in the US, you can go to the dollar store and get something like this usually. Just to give it a try. You can see it kind of push my thumb down as I blend. But it does take some practice, and I have practiced a bit. So now you can see it's a little bit darker. So I'm just eyeing it a little bit. And you see just this change in colors just a little bit. So I'll make it a little bit darker, and then I'll be done with it. Then we'll go on to the moon. We're not going to do much more with the bat. So you could cut out 2 different colors, but it gives it a different look with blended ink. So it'll line up like that. So now that we're finished with that, we can go ahead and add glue to this piece. And line it up. I made it short so we don't waste paper. We don't want to waste paper on this. So it's going to be covered. Now we can go ahead and work on the moon. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a different glow. And if you want to play around on the other side, because nobody's going to see. So if you want to play around with color on the other side, that's usually what I do, or just a scrap piece of paper. So I stopped for a minute to get this spiced marmalade out, and as you can see, I took another brush out. But just to give you an idea, and this is the back side. And some people might not want to do this, but I'm going to pop it up so it's not going to be seen on the back side. But you see, if you just put it on there, it looks funny, but you can kind of play around on the back side of something and get the colors you want. So I'm just going to go for it. So I'll do a little bit of the spiced marmalade first. And just kind of go behind. So I'm just trying to get a moon effect, but I just wanted to get some orange in there. So it takes a little bit of force. Of course, you could do just a different color moon altogether. It's up to you, but I think it's kind of fun to do this inking. It kind of gives it a different effect. And again, I'm not an expert whatsoever, so I just kind of do it until it feels right. So in with the black soot again. Give a more spooky feel. To me, it's just fun to play with. Like, a lot of us have these inks in our drawers, and maybe we don't use them as much as we'd like to. And So that's kind of why it's fun. So I'm not, like I said, you can't really, let's see if I can get just a little bit more deeper orange. So it's kind of, hopefully it looks spooky. So I think we're done with the inking, or I'm done with it. So let me go ahead and just put it over there and see what it looks like. So let me just get the bat. So a lot of it's just seeing what it looks like to you. So you just have that little spookiness to it now. And I do like using a regular, I don't like inking on my, I just use an extra piece of paper, which this is from that pumpkin, the witchy pumpkin that I released a little while ago here. So this is what it'll go like. It'll go like this. So you can see it kind of looks, hopefully, a little spooky. Just fun. So let's go ahead and piece together this guy. So the way it goes is like this. 2, there's 4. So just layered like that. So we just go ahead and we'll start with that white layer. You want to add glue to the black piece on the back. This piece is slightly larger than the white. I don't want the white showing through on the edge, so I made it slightly smaller. But then it shows through the white nose and mouth and ears. So what we want to do, you can either do it this way. Maybe put a little dot next to the nose so it sticks there. So you don't want it showing from the front. Oopsie, wrong side. Making sure that the textured side is showing, goes through the holes. So you just want to kind of adjust it, make sure that it doesn't show. And then I'll look from the front and you can't see the white on the edge. Maybe a little bit down there. So I tried to make this so it was easy to put together. Then this goes behind here. So you want to line up the nose and the teeth. So we'll do the, doesn't matter which one. This one, again, this is slightly bigger than the yellow. So the yellow doesn't show on the edge. So, but you want to just match up the nose and the mouth. So the way I do it, I'll just start at the mouth. You could have put the glue on the yellow piece too. So you want to match those up. So I'm just wiggling it in place. So I can get it as close to possible as. And for some reason, if you have a little orange showing through, you could always ink it really quick on the other side if you're doing the ink to help tone down the edges. So it may take a little bit. See, I'm inking on places I don't want to ink on. But so that's a little thing to help with that. Then we'll just go ahead and line that up. So the way I layered is just to avoid having too many teeny pieces you have to put on. So that's, and one of the reasons why the box is so big is to make sure that the back details come out pretty good. So that'll line up. If you line that up, it lines up on there. And then we'll go ahead and glue on the moon. Make sure that's out of the way so I don't get it. So you just want to place it the way that it works for you. lining it up to the bottom there, the bottom edge here. Then I'm going to take a piece of, or a couple pieces of double-sided sticky tape and pop it up. So this is a kind that I have on hand, that I have a bunch of. If you watch some of my older videos, I am not fond of it, but I have 36 feet of it, so I'm using it. But I do prefer Scotch foam tape, really. That's what I'll probably continue to buy, but I have a lifetime supply now of this, so I'm not sure if I'll ever get back to Scotch on video. I just don't want to waste it. And the reason I don't like it is that with Scotch you can actually tear it with your fingertips. I mean, like, you don't have to have a pair of scissors, and the backing comes off so much easier. So if you want to know what this is, it's Artesa, I believe that's how you say it. I'm not sure. I wouldn't actively tell people to go purchase it. So let me get this off, and then I'll be back. So we can also just put it on this one. I'm not going to put the bat on yet until the box is together, because it's going to be harder for me to apply pressure when I glue that. So we'll do this part as flat. So I do want the bat to be, you could go either way. Go that way. Maybe I'll go to the left. So you want to just not put the bat things, try to put glue on everything but the bat wings. So I decided I'm going to go like this. Go crooked. I'll go that way. There's really no, whatever looks good to you. Got a little glue on my fingertips, but fortunately that's where the bat thing is. Then we'll go ahead and I have my little my foam tape that popped up a little bit. My hands are wet. Go ahead and line this up. You want to make sure you have it pretty lined up before you push down. Depending on the foam tape, it may not be so forgiving. You could just line it up. If you don't have foam tape, you can always just glue it on. That's why I have it shaped the way it is. So I did exactly what I said I wouldn't do, just so you know. See, that's my short memory span. We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and put this together real quick, and then we'll put that on. It's a hard thing. So if you're going to put something a little bit bigger in it, you want to glue these to the bottom. But if you don't, you can glue them on the inside. So most people are not going to notice with a treat box. So it's a pretty big treat box. So you put a lot of goodies in it, you're going to want it to be strong. But if you don't like to see the tabs, glue it on the inside. But this time I'm going to glue it on the outside. I change it up. And just gluing it for the inside, you just add glue, flip them over, add glue to this top piece on all three, and then just fold over, line up the panel on the bottom. Okay, because I started adding glue to the outside while I was talking to you, we're going to glue it on the inside. Oh boy. Talk about mistakes. But I'm not going to remake the whole thing because of this. So I'll just show you how to glue on the inside. So I'll have a little glue on the inside, a little dry. So let me pop it up. That's what happens sometimes when I'm not paying attention. I'm going to just fold them down and then line them up. So again, if you wanted to have a little bit more weight, you'd want to glue it on the inside. So, but I just wasn't paying attention while I was chit-chatting away. And there we go. So I have a little glue on the inside. And the reason why I'm not redoing the video for this is that, ironically, I've just had this has been a hard time getting adjusted to making videos again and in a new place. And I've actually cut this out 4 times. So it's my good paper, and you make do when you have issues. And if this happened to you and you're location, which you can always do is do a 3x3 square and put it inside to hide the glue. So just so you know, everything is fixable without having to remake it. For some reason, this has been one of those, it's just me getting back in the swing of things. So you can see the glue on there, but typically I wouldn't give these away. Or I'd put just a little, like I said, 3x3 square. So now I'm just going to glue this to the front. It's hard to do bat things. I have the drop seats too. It's hard to do bat things because, I don't know, they're so small, so when you have to cut them really small, and I'm not really fond, I like paper, not vinyl. I mean, vinyl you can do really small. So I'm just going to line that bottom edge up, making sure I'm on the bottom, and then I can flip it over and apply pressure on the inside. So that's why we added glue to the actual box and not this piece, because it overlaps. It actually is a super simple box, but I think a little fun. It's really all about what's on the front. And it's a pretty big treat box. So again, you could probably put this down if you wanted like a 2x2 or something like that. You could size it down maybe 80-90%, and this probably will still be big enough to cut out comfortably. So that's it. So that's the little Gone Batty box, and I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.